Hi guys, it's Mrs. Longmire here. We have been learning about how readers question and predict when they're reading, all using their thinking voice. And we learned a song that sort of helped us, and it goes, read, read, read the text, question while you go, predict what will happen next, read on so you'll know. And so in the first lesson, we talked about how you readers predict. And we used our silhouette head where we collect details. We collect lots of details and put those together and start to see patterns. And we have some memory, some things up in our brain that we know a lot about. And we put it all together and we make a prediction. That was our inference. We predict. And then we learned about how readers preview the text. Before you even read, you really look at the front cover and you look through the pages and you try to steal as much information. We called ourselves information thieves, and we were stealing all of the information that we could before we even read a single word. And then last time we talked about the things that we wonder or we question when we're reading. And good readers do that. They question while you go, and you think of questions in your head like who or what, where, when, why, how. We think of questions that start with those types of words. And then we read on to find out if we were right. And if we were right, we confirm. Or if we were wrong, we adjust our thinking and keep reading. That's what good readers do. Well, today we're going to talk about how sometimes when you're reading, you get confused. And see how it has a little confused face and it's on yellow because it's our thinking voice. We get confused. Maybe we don't understand what that word means. We've never seen that word before, or we're confused about what's going on. And so I'm going to add this to our chart. It sort of goes with wonder, what we're wondering, but sometimes we're just confused. And so some of those thoughts we might be having is, I was confused by a certain word, or what does this word mean? I don't understand this part. It doesn't make sense. I'm confused. And so those are some of the thoughts that you might have when you're reading if you're confused. And I'm going to show you today some strategies that you can use when you're confused. Sometimes there's clues in the picture. We can just look at the picture and that sort of helps us and we get a clue and it can help us figure out what that word means. Sometimes we can read a few more words in the text, read a couple more sentences, or we can go back and read a couple of words before that tricky word, and that can help us figure out what that word means. It gives us a clue in the words. Maybe there's a synonym that means the same thing as that word in the same sentence, and so we can use clues in the text, or we can use clues in the picture to help us figure out what those words mean. And so when we're confused, and I'm going to show you what this could look like, and then I'm going to need your help and let you practice with me as well. So we're going to use a book on Epic called Who Lives Here, about polar bears. And there's lots of sections in this book. Lots of different animals. We're going to look at a couple of different sections today with me, but then we'll talk about later as part of your assignment. You could go back and you could do a couple other sections. The first section that we're going to look at are about penguins. So I'm going to flip to this page where it says Emperor Penguin, and I'm going to be the reading voice, and I'm going to read, and then I'm going to use my reading voice, and then I'm going to stop when I get confused and use my thinking voice, and then try to look for clues to help me, okay? So it says Emperor Penguin. The Emperor Penguin lives in chilly Antarctica. These penguins are taller than a kitchen table. A mother and father Emperor Penguin take turns looking after their baby. The chick sits on its parent's feet, up off the icy ground. Waterproof feathers overlap tightly and cover the penguin like a thick winter coat. Emperor penguins huddle for warmth. Huddle for warmth. Thinking of the word huddle. And I'm kind of confused about what huddle means here. They huddle for warmth. Well, if I look at the picture, it looks like a big group kind of pushed together. So that might be a clue. Huddle, they huddle for warmth. They huddle to get warm. Let me keep reading and see if I can find some clues in the text. They take turns in the middle where it is the warmest. Okay, so they're trying to get in the middle and huddle together. So I think huddle might mean like cozy up and get close to each other to stay warm. Because I used the picture and I saw how they were all pushing themselves together in the picture, and it talked about how they try to get huddle for warmth to stay warm, and they take turns in the middle. So see how I was confused by what huddle meant, but I looked at the picture and I looked in the text. A penguin uses its wings to swim. It speeds through the ocean hunting for fish. Zoom. Okay, so the next section we're going to go to is about an owl, snowy owl. The snowy owl is a fierce hunter. These owls perch on rocks and hills on the tundra to watch for their prey. Tundra. That's kind of a confusing word. They perch on the rocks and hills on the tundra. I'm kind of confused by the word tundra, but I know, let's see, rocks and hills are on the tundra. So it must be somewhere on land. And they watch for their prey. And if I look at the picture, it looks like icy hills and land. So I'm thinking tundra must be what the land is called, where this ice in Antarctica. So I used the picture and the words to try to figure it out. Rocks and hills. Okay. Whoosh, with its big wings outstretched, a snowy owl swoops down on lemmings, birds, hares, and other small animals. Snowy owls use sharp claws called talons to catch lemmings and prey. Talons. I'm kind of confused by what talons mean. Let me go back and read that sentence again. Snowy owls use sharp claws called talons. Sharp claws. Talons are sharp claws. Oh, and look at the picture. See how its sharp claws are getting ready to grab that little animal? So the picture, I can see these sharp, like fingernail claws, and the word sharp claws called talons. So talons must mean sharp claws. So I use the words and I can use the picture to help me figure out what talons mean. Great. Okay. The owl's white feathers blend in with the snowy land and help it stay hidden. Dark feathers match the colors of the tundra and help young owlets hide from enemies. Owlets. I've never heard that word before. Owlets. Wonder what, kind of confused by owlets. Let me read that again. Dark feathers match the colors of the tundra and help young owlets. So young owlets must be young or babies. Oh, and if I look at the picture, it's the little baby owls. Oh, so owlets must be baby owls. They're young. They're not very old. Baby owlets. So see how I was confused by the word owlets, but I used the word young and the picture of these little baby owls to figure out that owlets must mean baby owls. Are you ready to help me try this? Can you help me? Okay, let's move to a new section, the Musk Ox, and see if you can help me. Musk Ox. The Musk Ox has long, shaggy fur to keep it warm. Musk oxen live in the tundra, there's that big tundra word again, in big groups called herds. Do you know what the word herds mean? Are you confused by herds like me? See if you can use clues either in the picture or in the words to help you figure out what that word herds means. Did you see the words big groups? Big groups called herds? So herds must be a big group of oxen. that live together. Is that what you said? Did you use the clues in the words to help you? Big groups called herds. Great job. A baby musk ox stays close to its mother to keep snug and warm until its own long fur grows in. Soft, short fur under the long fur gives extra protection against the cold and wind. Male musk oxen butt heads and horns to decide who is the biggest and strongest. A musk ox uses its big front hoof like a shovel to dig up tasty plants buried under the snow. Hoof. Do you see that word there? Hoof. That's kind of confusing, isn't it? Hoof. See if you can use picture clues or word clues to help you figure out what that word hoof might mean. You see the words big front hoof? So it's like your front paw almost, or front leg, front hoof. Do you see the picture? Do you see it's like his foot? He's using it as a shovel to dig up. So hoof must be like his front foot. Great job. You used picture clues and word clues to figure that out. Great job. Let's go on. We're going to go to another section on the beluga whale. I'll be the reading voice, and then we'll stop when we get confused. The beluga whale swims in the icy Arctic Ocean. Belugas eat fish and other creatures that live in the water. A beluga lives in a group called a pod. The whales in the pod talk to each other using sounds such as chirps, whistles, and squeals. Pod. I'm kind of confused. Are you confused by the word pod? Let's see if we can use clues to help us figure out what the word pod means. Did you see the words? They live in a group called a pod. So a pod must be a group of whales. Is that what you thought? Great job. Let's keep going. A beluga breathes through a hole on the top of its head. Belugas poke their heads out of the water to get air. Blubber, a thick layer of fat under the beluga's skin, works like a warm blanket to keep out the cold. Blubber. Are you confused by the word blubber? It's not a word we hear all the time, is it? Blubber. Let's see if we can find some clues in the text or in the picture to help us figure it out. Did you see the words thick layer of fat? So it's like a thick piece of fat under the skin. And did you see the picture? It's showing the blubber under his skin. Kind of zooms in so you can see what it looks like. And it says it's warm like a blanket. So blubber is thick and warm like a blanket, almost like a blanket under the whale's skin. Great job. You used word clues and picture clues. As a baby beluga gets older, its gray skin will turn white like its parents. Okay, so let's keep going. We're going to go to one more section on walruses. Okay, walrus. The walrus is a large animal with long teeth called tusks. Tusks. Now I know elephants have tusks, but I'm trying to think of what the word tusks really means. Can you help me? See if you see any picture clues or word clues. Did you see the words long teeth? They have long teeth called tusks. Did you see the picture of the tusks did you see it in the picture of the walrus? Yeah, so they're those long, sharp, pointy teeth called tusks. Great job. Walruses live in the freezing polar water near pack ice. Walruses spend most of their time in the chilly ocean, but climb onto ice or rocky shores to rest and give birth. A baby walrus doesn't have much blubber. The calf stays warm, snuggled next to its mother. Calf. Now I know baby cows are called calves. That they're not talking about a baby cow here. Calf. Kind of confused. What do you think that word calf means? Can you find picture clues or word clues to help us? Did you see a picture of a baby in a walrus in the picture? Say it's warm next to its mother. So it must be talking about the baby because the baby's next to its mother. So a calf must mean a baby walrus. Is that what you were thinking? Yeah, great job. So we use the picture clue of the picture of a baby walrus with its mom, and we also use some word clues snuggled next to its mother. The walrus jabs its strong tusks into the ice to help pull its heavy body out of the water. A walrus uses whiskers like fingers to feel along the dark ocean bottom for clams and other food. Gulp. Great job. You did such a fantastic job of using picture clues and word clues to help you figure out words when you get confused and you think, I've never seen that word before, or what does that word mean here? Maybe you've seen the word, but you've never seen it in this type of context. So when we get confused, we have to look for clues, look for picture clues and word clues to help us out. So if you were in Mrs. Longmire's class, I would have you go back to other sections of this book. Like there was one on polar bears that we didn't read yet, and caribou, and let's see. We did the owl, seals, and Arctic fox, and there were some other pages. I would have you go to those other sections of this book and stop when you get confused, when you see a new word that you're kind of confused, and look for picture clues, look for word clues, and put those together to help you figure out what those words mean. Okay, and sometimes there's a glossary at the back. Let's look at the back. Sometimes the glossary can help us as well. If you're looking at a book that's an information book or a nonfiction book, sometimes there's glossaries. Like in the back, it tells you the animal words, and that kind of can help you as well, and can help you to help you figure out what some of those words mean as well. So using some of those text features too. There's also some other books like this on Epic. There's Who Lives Here Desert Animals and Who Lives Here Forest Animals that are just like this book. And so you could also practice these strategies when you get confused by a new word in some of those books as well. But your teacher might have a even better idea.